It's too closely to know.
That was a 0-0.
So, 3 points from a bench boost, what a waste.
It does sound like it was a bit of a waste, mate. You had 2 players that didn't play, and I think it brings up a very interesting question for the callers, and people are probably asking this right now. And Ricky Pellegrini, Neil van Dijk, I'm looking at you boys. Has he played it too early, and when's the ideal time to play the bench boost in your opinion?
Yeah, I think with the bench boost, a go-to, you're always going to look at what are your upcoming fixtures in terms of potential double game weeks, right? The thing there is that with your double game week, you're tempted to play your triple captain, but then also depending on how far in advance you...
And sorry, a double game week? Just what's the old double game week?
Double game week. So that can be, say for example, congestion of fixtures, or depending on a time of year where you've got a fixture overload, you've got Christmas for example, you can have a game week, X teams will be playing twice, so naturally you're going to be doubling up on your players playing games and potentially points as well, and that all kind of goes.
But that's not a scheduled game week overlapping. So for example with Christmas they'll play on the Saturday and the Tuesday. That's two separate game weeks. It's only where a team their game gets postponed because of the snow that week.
It's caveat, it's
the
not,
Champions
it's not
League
all
shouldn't
teams.
cover it.
The Champions League
it
does, because if in the later stages, because they don't plan for let's say the late stages, let's say like the quarterfinals and the semi-finals, that's usually when they have to reschedule.
But as a caveat, that's a very good description, and it has happened every single fantasy Premier League season for the last 10.
It usually happens at the back end of the season, most common, because again, they squeeze all these games in.
Has Sean McGinn wasted his bench boost?
I don't think there's ever a good time. It's a bit like the same question as saying, when do you triple captain, to be honest. I don't think there's always the perfect time to do it. Yes, in theory, you should do it when there's a double game week, just because you've got more chance. But then, we were kind of talking about this earlier, Neil van Dijk. In those double game weeks, there's a lot of resting players as well. Rotation of the squads, especially with big teams like Man City and Liverpool, they won't play the same team twice. So a bit of potluck on that side as well. So you have to flip it around and say, just going on your gut feeling. If John McGinn fanboy took us through there, you would have expected Tottenham to have got a clean sheet and Wolves get a clean sheet. So I can see exactly why he would have done that.
Yeah, and you also have to differentiate yourself. Everyone's going to go on the double game week as well, so I kind of thought. Actually, I was looking at the stats there, and the double game week is the most used triple captain week every season.
Triple captain?
Yeah, triple captain. Actually, I read an interesting article where people said you actually make more money by triple captaining your defenders in double game week. You make more points doing that than you do your strikers.
That's interesting.
So everyone's going to put a striker, hope for a hat trick,
Aguero
or whatever.
It's a great
But
stat,
actually, just putting defenders in
great
again,
stat.
2 clean sheets is going to be more than expected for a double game week.
Well, that's only going to give you 24. What is it? If he gets 2 cleanies, that's 36.
Cleanies? Yeah, at least.
I mean, the time to use your triple captain, mate, it's when Aguero gets 5. That's when you should use it.
You just tell me when, and
I'll
make sure
I'm asking.
Go back to that.
I was on my way to ask him on Friday, but he was involved in a crash, so I never got there. He never got to me, mate.
He was at Fiddlesticks.
He was meant to be on the bus, wasn't he?
He crashed into the bus.
The triple captain is quite.
He missed the bus.
It's a bit of a dud, though, to be honest. You're always going to have someone in your team not playing. You know, even if they're picked, the players that are usually on your bench, you usually got them there because they're cheaper and you're just trying to fill up spots, right?
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
But hey,
Ricky Pellegrini, I want to move on to your team, mate. Talk us through your team. Sean, you've had a blinder. You're up to 3rd. You're looking like the man that could take everyone by surprise this year, having come last year. But
yeah, you laugh at the Scots, we'll come and get you.
But Ricky, what happened for you this week?
So first and foremost, I thought Salah was going to be fit, and that seemed to be a rumour that was going around. I read a lot of articles, Sky Sports, everyone was expecting Salah to actually come out, and it was only when Klopp had an interview just before the game against United, he was like, I don't know why everyone's saying that Salah's going to be fit. I never said he was anywhere near being fit. He said he just wasn't ready. You got the Champions League as well this week. Obviously a bit of a mistake there, a bit of miscommunication, I think, from some of the tabloids in terms of Salah.
You didn't use your direct line into Klopp to...
I should have, but I wanted to respect his time. He had a big game coming up.
You have that as an extra power-up on your app, don't you? There's one about it. I see on yours there you have...
The
you have the triple captain,
exactly.
the free hit, the bench boost, and the call Klopp. that you can use at any point.
Unfortunately, it was engaged.
I brought in Traore because we were raving about him. I did so well against Man City. Unfortunately, they did not keep him up front. They reverted back to the right wing. He still looked good, to be fair, but Jimenez was the man, I think, for Wolves. Will I be sticking with Traore? I still think he's still within a shout. Comparing to Cantwell, looking at Norwich still, Cantwell's fizzling out. Sorry, love you, Perm, but fizzling out. Lewis Dunk as well in the Brighton team. I brought him in the same game week. Stuck with the rest of them. I was hoping that Haller would get on the score sheet, but obviously didn't. At the moment, obviously, Mahrez is letting me down as well. We did that episode, Magnificent Mahrez. He had three or four game weeks in a row. He's looking superb, but now looks out of favour a little bit.
So overall, Ricky, you've done 34 points. You're above the average. It was 30 points, the average. They've updated that's there. Salah was out. Mahrez was out. No Kelly, no Button. You know, I don't even know who Button is. Where'd you get in?
Benjamin Button.
Mate, he's from F1, mate. I sold him a cookie when I worked in Waitrose once in Weybridge, West Weybridge.
You know the way I see it,
Button, mate.
The way I see it, Jimmy, is like as long as I score above average, I'm happy.
Yeah.
But it was a low-scoring game week, really. I think looking at the captains, I think everyone was a bit shocked. I was dicing between Sterling and Abraham. I literally did change him about 20 times. Usually, I'm pretty solid on my choice. I just leave it alone early on. I just kept changing my mind between Sterling and Abraham because Abraham was at home. He should have scored. You saw that game. He had two blinders. He had a header, one right in front of the goal that was very well blocked by the Newcastle defender. But a bit gutted about that.
I mean, he's gone up 0.7 million since the start, and so many people went for Abraham this week as captain. I think
they did.
a lot of people got burned on that.
One of the top choices.
I certainly went for him myself. Neil Van Dijk.
He did, yeah. He had two great chances. You know, header, Dubravka, good save, and then a great stop as well, which was pretty much kind of almost a tap in. But fortunately, the Abraham captain choice.
And it didn't go. None of the games went to plan, did they? From what we were saying last week, there wasn't a lot of goals. Yeah, I was thinking Norwich are going to get spanked by Bournemouth 0-0.
We thought it'd be tons of goals.
Southampton, we thought they were going to
first.
get a bit of a beating from Wolves.
Do you know Bournemouth and Norwich were the only two teams who have not kept a clean sheet this year? And then it's ironic. It's ironic that it was a 0-0. I'm pretty sure someone said that on the last episode. I've got to say Villa was standout.
Yeah, I think we've got to speak about the man that we have mentioned quite regularly, and no one's quite backed him yet. Grealish. No one has. One has quite taken him yet.
I was raving about him. I haven't put him in my team, but I was raving about him. He's at 5.9 million. He was the best player on the pitch. I was comparing him to Maddison, saying he should be in with an England call-up because I thought he was just as good as Maddison.
I think that's the news this week. That exactly right. Based on his performance, calling for an England call-up, he's only really selected by 4.2% of FPL managers. He got an assist, got a goal. If you look at his last 4 game weeks, he got a 6, 2, 7, and 13 this week. So really an upturn in form, and he's a standout player. For
he's
5.9 million.
He was the star midfielder this week. 13 points, more than Barnes, more than David Silva and Bernard.
Villa fans must be losing faith in football, though. This VAR thing. When are they allowed to celebrate?
Villa did win, though.
They did win, but they had scored when it was 1-0 to Brighton. Wesley actually was judged to foul the keeper, and it was 3 passes before, or 2 passes before the goal. Didn't look a foul. Nothing in it. The referee gave it. I don't know how you see that as clear and obvious to overturn that.
Oh, because it was Wesley, not Schneider.
That's anyway,
I mean, Schneider would have got away with that. He wasn't Schneider enough. He's too big, old Wesley, isn't he?
He's
but Villa, I think Villa, as a Villa fan, I'd be absolutely chuffed to bits with my start to the season. They're sitting on 11 points, well above Norwich, who are the other team that came up. Sheffield United, 1 point more than them, 12. They've done well, haven't they? Old Sheffield United beating Arsenal tonight.
Yeah, I didn't
see it. What happened tonight?
Yeah, 1-0 to Sheffield United, kept a clean sheet. The headline I wanted to say on that is that I've said every week is Pepe can't shoot because he missed an absolute sitter, literally right in front of the goalkeeper. I can't even believe he didn't score. Even though I said he can't shoot, he's a professional footballer.
He's such a waste of money. If you've got Pepe, we've said it before, you've got to get him out of your team. You really have.
Yeah, he's a waste of money.
Arsenal were 1-0 down after 1 minute, and then Sheffield United kept it the whole game.
I think it was 30 minutes.
Sorry, it says he got 1 goal. I'm still hungover from the stag lads.
No, that's all right. He's still
in my head.
Sheffield Wednesday.
He's still in fiddlesticks.
Most sets.
The Blades are good at home. We've said it before. You know, they're good at home. They're tough to beat. They're
fortress,
they're a proper championship side. They're like a rough, they're
Premiership
physical. They're Premiership now, but they play like a championship side.
Don't let McBurdy hear you call him a championship player.
It's not pretty to watch. Lundstrom is like the ultimate Sheffield United player. He's up and down the pitch. He works really hard, and they've just got a great spirit about him. Arsenal found it really difficult to break them down.
I wanted to say well done to Sheffield United firstly, but I also wanted to jump back, guys, to what we were talking about earlier, Manchester United and Liverpool. And you know, Ricky, you said that your team got a little bit done by Salah not playing, and he never said he was fit to play. But I have to admit, you know, Manchester United actually getting a point against Liverpool, I wasn't seeing that, and I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, normally we say, "What happened at United, mate? Can we kick it off, Jimmy? What happened at United? You look like a different team."
Yeah, I mean, we can't kick it off because we're about 25 minutes in now, Ricky, but we can talk about it. We can go back and start again, lads. I've got to say, mate, what I actually wanted to say originally is I think Liverpool are a different team without Salah. I really thought you guys were, and I'm looking at Neil van Dijk on it. I felt as though Liverpool just didn't really have a spark, but I've also said it for the last 3 weeks. I remember the game where you... it was the 1-0 Wijnaldum where it went
1-0 against
legs.
Sheffield United. Yeah, definitely. We couldn't break him down. I think
it looks like you're short on ideas. You didn't really make that much against United.
Credit to United. They, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer set his team out well. They flooded the midfield and they really kind of nullified Liverpool, to be honest. I think the main thing actually kind of that comes out of it and a question for yourself, as a Man United fan, you're frustrated because you think about some of the performances, albeit the one against, you know, Chelsea where you spanked them 4-0 early on in the season. They look good, you know. They attack well. Rashford, as we know, albeit looking a little tired and jaded, took his goal really well. Albeit controversial. But the point is that, you know, they played well. They played as a unit, and yeah, I'd be frustrated if I was a Man United fan. Why can't you play like that, you know, week in, week out? It's almost like it was your cup final, to be honest, at Old Trafford, and that's it. You kind of turned up, and you might revert back to business next game week.
I've got to say, there's only one thing that I'm frustrated about at that game. The result was the result. 1-1's not so bad. I'll take a point, right? But that's what frustrates me, that United fans are like, oh, we'll take a point. My wife-to-be said to me, oh, that's not too bad. It's so patronising. That's not the Man United way. That's awful getting a point against you. We should be smashing you. We're Manchester United, and I'm not smashing you. I mean, that's a little bit too tongue-in-cheek.
But you're at Old Trafford, and you expect to win. Yeah,
I don't expect... I don't like the talk of, oh, that's not too bad. It's like, we have dropped so far that's not too bad a result. And yeah, I am gutted that we didn't hold on to it, and I'm not surprised, though, that we didn't hold on to it. And I actually don't think it was a reflection of us playing massively well. I wouldn't have said we played any better than we have all season. Yeah, right, we were compact. We didn't make that many chances. I actually don't think Liverpool played very well, and I think Liverpool can play far better than that.
Agreed.
I do think Salah was a big miss from you, but I do think the last 3 weeks I've seen a little bit of a dip in the way Liverpool are playing. They seem short on ideas. You got Spurs next week. I think you could right your wrongs there, maybe. But
it was an interesting one, to be honest. Yeah,
I think City, they got goals all over the pitch.
I think for 60 minutes, you're right. I think we lack that midfield creativity. In all fairness, you know, out of the game, sure, we got a point and probably fair result. Jurgen Klopp actually made some decent substitutions. I think when Oxlade-Chamberlain came on, Naby Keita, which I'm surprised, to be honest, he didn't start. I know he's not played that much because he's coming back from injury. To be honest, I would have started him ahead of Henderson. I think, you know, setting up the midfield a little bit too defensively with Wijnaldum, Henderson and Fabinho, you're never going to get that midfield creativity. And we actually got that, and especially with Lallana coming on as well. He was sprightly and in the right place at the right time, and naturally it paid off for him. Yeah, I think it's a lot of food for thought going into some of the other games where teams actually kind of set themselves up pretty well, akin to Manchester United, Sheffield United a couple of weeks back. They're games that, you know, if we don't improve, we're not going to get the rub of the green, and we're not going to get that result, whether it's a point or all 3 points, and that's going to hurt our title chances.
I've got to say, I actually, you know, quite like Adam the Llama. As an Englishman, he was born in...
Did you call him Adam the Llama?
Yeah, he was born in Chesington Zoo, wasn't he? Adam the Llama.
His big.
I heard that as well.
He just ghosted in at the back, didn't he, on his 4 legs?
Drama llama.
Adam Malama with his big neck. Great goal,
Loves a
great
bit
goal.
of
But no, I do like that guy, and I feel like if he could just get a run of games behind him, he could be a good player for you. But he just seems to get injured too much. He's a bit of a
sick note.
He's got 4 legs. He's easier to tackle, right? More to get injured.
Llamas are prone to getting injured. But Neil Van Dijk, talk me through your team though for this week. I mean, you had Vardy, you had Abraham, you had Callum Wilson. Pretty mean lineup there.
I think we spoke about Callum Wilson on the last podcast, and we thought he'd do the business ahead of Pookie. I got off of the Pookie bandwagon, albeit I kept the perm with
What a perm.
With Salah, I knew because he's a good mate of mine that he won't play, and I knew he was training separately. I did tell Ricky Pellegrini.
He doesn't listen that
and
point.
he just doesn't.
Ricky thought you were having him on.
He doesn't listen, and
see the size of his ears.
He just gave me a string of epithets.